Is this the best budget navigation setup for beginner adventure riders? Well, let's find out. Rightio guys, today's video is going to be on a budget navigation setup that you could use for adventure riding or just general navigation on a motorcycle. I'm going to try and keep this video short and sweet so there's not too much waffling, but I'm just going to stick to the key points, the things that you want to know, and not make this a 30-minute video. Alright, so what is it? It's essentially a screen that you attach to your handlebars, which your phone Bluetooths to, so you can see your navigation apps through that screen instead of your phone. And the reason you want to use one of these is in case you want to keep your phone tucked away, out of dangerous way or out of the weather. You know, if you're one of those riders that likes to be quite adventurous and you go tangling through the bush and the vine and everything like that, and you want to keep your phone protected, you want it off your handlebars and stuff like that, this is why you would use one of these screens instead of your actual phone itself. Now, over the past few months, I have been using one of these little navigation screens. It's from the sister company of the one we've got here today that I'm going to install, but I've been really loving it. The only downside to the one that I've been using is if you hardwire it into your battery terminals, it stays on all the time, because the one that I had didn't actually have an on-off button on the screen itself. So the bypass for that was to use the USB port, and I'd have to plug it in and unplug it to my USB port every time I wanted it to power on and off. And the other disadvantage of that is every time I was using it, it was then taking up a space in my USB port, so then there was one less thing that I could charge while I was using the little nav screen. This new one that I've got, it has a power button, so I can just turn it on and off from the handlebars, and I can just turn it off at the screen when I don't want to use it, so then there's no power draw constantly going to the unit itself. So full disclosure, I've been sent out one of these units for free in exchange to do a video for you guys. Because I'd previously been using one, like I said, from the sister company, I really enjoyed it, and I was the one that actually reached out to them and said, hey, would you be interested in sending me one of your products that, you know, has the power button on there, so I can do a bit of a video on it for my viewers to show them that there is this option out there in case they're unaware. And they said, yep, no worries, we'll send you one out. So full disclosure, I've been given this product for free so I can do a video for you guys. So I'm just gonna go over a few key specs about this thing that you may want to know. First thing is it's a 5-inch screen. They say that it's 1000 nits, so you can adjust the brightness on the screen if it is too bright for you, but with the little sun hood that it has on there and how bright the screen is, honestly, I've had no trouble seeing it in the middle of the day, and then at night it is incredibly bright. Now, there are a couple of different options with these screens. You can get the ones that have the dash cams. They have a front and rear dash cam that you can wire in. It does a continual loop, so you can treat it like a dash cam. So for you guys out there that do commute on your bike and do want that sort of peace of mind of you can sort of have a bit of safety visibility if you were to ever get in an accident and you're not at fault, having those dash cams are always a great option. Again, depending on what option you get, it actually comes with little valve cap sensors that you screw onto the valve caps, and it'll tell you your pressure readings when they're getting low through the screen. It'll give you a little warning saying, hey, your tire pressures are low, you need to check them, which is pretty cool. I don't know how accurate it is. I didn't put them on this one, and I didn't put the dash cam screens on this one either. I had them on the last bike, and to be completely honest, I just didn't use them, so today we've just got the screen going on this one. This unit's also waterproof. I don't know how much so. The last one, it took an absolute punishment with mud, pretty heavy downpours and everything like that. I used to just leave it on there when I'd wash my bike and stuff like that. This one is an IPX7 rating, I think, waterproof. I think the other one was the same, or IPX68 or whatever it was, but they look pretty solid as far as keeping out water for the most part. This unit also supports Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, depending on whether you've got an iPhone or you have an Android phone. Finally, the last thing that you might want to know is when you're running the navigation, you can pair like a center or some sort of Bluetooth helmet unit to it so that you can hear the turn prompts, you can hear the navigation through the speakers in your ears. You can also take phone calls and everything like that through it as well. All right, so that's enough waffling from me. We're gonna get this install on the way and then show you what it looks like after. All right, so we have the monitor screen, an array of different leads. Two of those are gonna end up being for these cameras. those valve sensors, power cord to go straight onto your battery terminals, mounting points, and then the little, you know, sun hood thing that goes over there so you can sort of see in the sun. But that's everything. Alright, so first things first, we're just going to get this seat off. And because I'm going to wire this one up to the battery terminals, I'm going to take off this plastic so I can get to the battery as well. Yes, I know what you're thinking, my bike is ridiculously dirty, but I went for a ride with the boys yesterday and I haven't had time to clean it yet, so just calm your farm, it'll get clean. Just doing this install first. So what I'm going to do, because I'm not actually going to be using these cameras at all, these are the two sort of ports that come out of the back of the unit for the camera. I'm just going to run a bit of heat shrink over them, use a bit of electrical tape and just tape them up so that we can't hopefully get any water or mud or anything like that in them, and tuck them away, keep them out of the way. Then this is our power cable. We're obviously going to be using that with this cord here. So this one plugs into this one, and then these obviously go onto your terminal. If you wanted to run it with a USB, if you didn't want to put it straight into your battery, you still have the option. They send out this power cord here as well, which is USB, can plug into a USB port. That's how I was running the other one. But like I said before, the reason why I got this unit is because it has a power button on the side of it. I can just keep it hardwired in there and turn it on and off on the unit whenever I want to use it. And that actually keeps one of my USB ports free to charge other stuff. Next thing that we want to do is just sort of get the back of this piece onto the back of the unit, so then we can mount our handlebar bracket on. You'll have 3 of these little sort of screws, don't know if you can see them, and then you'll have 3 little grommets as well. Bang the grommet in that side, screw in that side, and then that face sort of goes onto the back of the unit. And then you'll have this part mount on there also, and a screw goes through the back of it. But it's pretty self-explanatory. I'll just fast forward through this part. I'm sure we'll be able to get the idea of how to put it together, and then we'll throw it on the handlebars. So mounting it, you want to grab one of those little sort of bar extension things that bolts underneath your mirror clamp there. I got this off AliExpress for like $3 I think it was. I'll put a link in the description if you decide to buy one of these. You can fit it on your bars, it's just a little bit tight there, so I grabbed one of these. Gives you a little bit more versatility of angling it towards you or away from you depending on what sort of bike you end up putting this on. But for the price that you pay for these, well worth investing in it. So the next thing that we sort of want to do is figure out what we're going to do with our power cable. So I'll probably tuck the majority of it under the seat with the fuse and everything, and just leave enough slack for the power and the negative to attach to the battery terminals. The rest of it, I'm probably just going to run underneath the tank and have it come out up underneath the dash and try and tuck it in there nice and tidy so it doesn't look too ugly. Alright, so we've now got the terminals connected, ended up sort of stuffing the wiring and everything in there and getting it run through under the tank. Tucked it in here, tried to make it as sort of tidy as I could, and that power cable now comes up behind and it's all sort of tucked in here now. Tried to make it as neat as I could going up to the unit itself. So I can now turn the thing on and off on the unit, and it shouldn't have any draw coming from the battery at all. And then if I actually want to use the navigation welcome screen, elevator music, and then obviously your CarPlay, which I've got to hook up yet, but just wanted to sort of make sure everything at least starts and everything's sort of tucked away, and I can put the bike pretty much back together now and then just pair my phone with it. Okay, so actually already paired my phone to it at home. So if I turn this on, my phone should link straight up with it. Bang. Done. There's one thing I don't like about this interface, right? And this sort of definitely reflects the quality of it. When you come in here to search and the keypad pops up, the P is cut off by the home button. So that's a bit shit, to be honest. But you still can obviously get it to work, but it's not ideal. Anyway, let's go and have a look at Hinsdam. Alright, sweet. I haven't used this one really at all, but let's see how it goes. Let's just put in Binnaburra. Alright. Google's still running in the background, so I might just exit that, piss that off, jump back in here. Oh, that's cool. I've never actually noticed in that top right hand corner it has a speedo. The mounts on these are surprisingly stable. It's just plastic, but surprisingly stable. Well, the sunny Gold Coast is not that sunny at the moment. I wonder if this will navigate. Okay, so I have to create a route in here. This is just the free version, but I have to create a route in here to make this sort of to work and then to guide me as it does. But I mean, you can see the screen's sort of wet in here and how responsive it is. It's the same with gloves on, like it'll work with gloves on. I just forgot to put them on. Alright guys, so let's get into the price. Let's get into the real world use of this thing. Is it worth it? Is this thing even worth your time and effort? Now price, you can get these things for sale on AliExpress for around about $170 or $180, I think. You can buy the exact same thing from the sister company for possibly less. And there is quite a massive amount of these on the market nowadays. They're just pretty much the same style of thing, just rebranded. They're all sort of Chinese units that they're just selling the same thing. So price wise, you might be able to find them for less than 170 bucks Australian, of course, and some of them might go up to around that $300 mark, depending on which one you end up sort of going for. Also, before I forget, if you are interested in purchasing this particular brand motorcycle CarPlay unit, CarABC have been kind enough to give me a discount code to give to you guys. It's Another Guy on a Bike 10. You're gonna save 10% off the total purchase price of the unit. Now, the one with all the bells and whistles ends up being about $300 odd before shipping. That has the cameras, that has the valve sensors and all that kind of jazz. The one that I've got set up here today, which I personally think is the best go-to, especially on a budget, that's going to set you back around $217 Australian before shipping. And you use that code on top of it, save yourself a little extra coin. Another thing worth mentioning with this unit is you're basically just buying a screen. You're buying a screen to put on your handlebars to run the information from your phone to. You're not buying a navigation system like a XT Zumo or the Montana or TomToms or something like that, where all of the tracks are inbuilt into it. You need to be aware that the information that comes onto this screen is still going through your phone. You still have to have your navigation apps on your phone. So that is a cost worth considering. You know, if you're currently just using Google Maps or something like that, you can still obviously use them through there. But if you're gonna look at this from a bit of a whole navigation system, you may end up needing to get a subscription to like Gaia Maps or something like that. Now, is it worth it? I personally think so. For my case, I was using my phone for navs and I had to put it in the top of my tank bag, my Nelson Rig tank bag, and every time I wanted to see an upcoming corner or navigation instructions or something like that, I'd have to look down and take my eyes off the road. With this, I don't have to do that. I can just sort of glance down, I can see what's going on. It is very visible, not only from a protecting my phone perspective, from a safety perspective. I think it's worth it. And like I said, I've been using the other one for a couple of months now, and I really rate it for sort of what you end up paying for them. Elephant in the room, we're not talking about a crazy good quality navigation unit like I said before, the XT Zumos or the Montanas that are $1,000+ that is not what you're buying here. But for what you're paying for, we're talking about trying to get this good little system for entry-level riders or entry-level adventure riders to be able to navigate their way through the sticks, go on their adventures and make their experience that much more enjoyable. I personally do think that this is worth it. This is a platform that I think you can start on and test the waters and see whether you like having a screen up there in your cockpit as well. If you do like that and you want more versatility, then you can move on, put some coin aside and go and get yourself the fancy ones. Go and get yourself the Rolls Royce of navigation units. But this is definitely one of those units that you'll start on. You might stay on for ages, or you might chuck it in the bin and go, that was a piece of shit. I don't even like it. Anyway guys, that is enough from me. I hope this video has helped. I hope I've given you the most sort of bullshit free kind of review of this thing as I could. I tried to tell you exactly what you'd be getting out of this, what it is, what it isn't, what you can expect from it and stuff like that. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.